Hello there and a very good evening to you. Welcome to TV47 Weekend. Quite a lot lined up for you this particular Sunday, the second day of April 2023. But first, to the highlights.
Yeah, like you see, these are the fabrics we use for the sofas. Yeah, there are different types of fabrics.
Sabak.
This is the best way to go. Eat color, eat raw, you know, like this is alive.
Well, 2022 is behind us. 2023 is here with us. What are your plans? We're here at...
Azimio leader Raila Odinga has called off the planned opposition demonstrations following a truce proposed by President William Ruto.
We stand down our demonstrations for Monday, that is tomorrow, April 3rd, 2023.
The president had urged the opposition leader to raise any relevant issues he wished to be addressed through parliament just moments before. Also tonight, President William Ruto assures journalists of their safety in the wake of numerous cases of violence against journalists.
Any engagement that puts the media in danger is not acceptable.
This as the media sector working group issues tough demands for future engagements between the government and the media. And on our special piece, we show you how pastoralist communities are adapting to changes in the climate.
So nimeona wengi wakisunguka hapa wakiona, wakitazama, wanazungumzia zaidi kutaka kubadilisha kilimo ambayo ilikuwa ya mifugo, kutaka kufanya hii miradi.
Good evening. Faith Nyama is on the sign language interpretation. I'm yours truly, Stanley Nyurungite. You can always talk to us on our socials below your screens. Now to top story this evening, Azimio leader Raila Odinga has suspended the anti-Kenya Kwanza government protest. The announcement coming hours after President William Ruto, while addressing the nation, called on his political rival to call off the weekly demonstrations. Odinga has called off the Monday and Thursday's demos in what he termed as giving room for dialogue as proposed by President William Ruto. Mwege William opens our bulletin tonight.
Hours before the fourth round of demonstrations against the William Ruto-led government, opposition leader Raila Odinga has hit to calls to call off the demonstrations. He referred to the planned Monday protest as the mother of all demonstrations. Odinga addressed the media at Capitol Hill in Nairobi and mentioned that the Azimio Brigade would return to the streets if unsatisfied with the calls for dialogue by the government.
We reserve our rights to call for demonstrations should this process not bear fruit. Should there be no meaningful engagement or response from Hon Ruto to our counter-offer, we resolve to resume our demonstrations after 1 week.
Opposition leader Raila Odinga was accompanied by other Azimio leaders, including Kalonzo Musyoka and Martha Karua, when making the announcement to all of the planned Monday protest. This came hours after President William Ruto urged Odinga to call off the demonstrations, citing their negative impact on the economy.
Our country's image and history in the League of Modern Nations has been at stake in the last 2 weeks. The country's economy has been hit hard at a time when my administration is doing everything possible to salvage the economy from the deep hole where we found it.
While calling off the protest, Odinga outlined immediate demands that the Azimio coalition wants addressed.
In accepting the call for the dialogue, we ask that all arrests and prosecutions related to our demonstrations be stopped with immediate effect. In view of the foregoing, we stand down our demonstrations for Monday, that is tomorrow, April 3rd, 2023.
However, President Ruto has reiterated that his government will endeavor to ensure that all citizens are guaranteed of their security, calling upon better collaboration in bettering the country's economy.
I have always been ready to engage Kenyans of all walks of life, including elected and appointed leaders from across the political divide and the religious fraternity, on how to make our country better and prosperous.
For the past 2 weeks, the Azimio la Umoja has been leading protests with thousands of supporters taking to the streets to demonstrate against several issues. These include the renewal of the Electoral Poll Agency, IEBC's server, the selection panel tasked to reconstitute IEBC, and the high cost of living. The Ruto government has suggested a bipartisan engagement in Parliament to address some of the issues. Raila and his team has given a 1-week ultimatum for the issues to be addressed, warning that they will resume protest if they are not satisfied. Mwige William, TV 47.
Now, meanwhile, President William Ruto has finally accepted the long-awaited engagements with Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader Raila Odinga, set to solve the issue of recruitment of IEBC commissioners and the chair. Since the vacancies were announced, IEBC selection panel said it received 920 applications for the positions of chairpersons and 6 commissioners. And as Mike Agwongo reports, the opposition leader maintained that he will embark on mass action in a week's time if his demands are not met, as promised by the head of state.
In his address to the nation Sunday evening, President William Ruto suggested that he was ready and willing to engage with Azimio leader Raila Odinga on the reconstitution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission through a bipartisan approach via Parliament.
We've been this road before. We've sorted out matters in a bipartisan way in Parliament before, irrespective of what numbers there are. And in any case, the numbers in Parliament, the difference is not that much from where I sit. So I do not see any threat of any side. And in any case, when we engage in a bipartisan approach, it is not a game of numbers.
The president said that even though the process follows a law created during the regime of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, he made the choice to accommodate the views of the Azimio side.
It is a game of reason and how we put our arguments in a manner that carries not one side, but all sides. That is the essence of a bipartisan approach.
The president insisted that he is a listener and has always been ready to engage on matters from people of all walks of life, including elected and appointed leaders from across the political divide.
Our position is that we should never be in the position that this country was put by the handshake, where there is no distinction between government and the opposition. Once you compromise accountability and oversight, you are in for a lot of trouble.
The issues Azimio la Umoja has been demanding to be addressed include reduction of the cost of living, the opening of the IEBC servers, and the involving of all political parties in the selection of new IEBC commissioners, insisting that President Ruto's administration must prioritize the electoral reforms agenda.
Our position is that we want to engage our brothers and sisters on the other side on issues that are important to the people of Kenya, them as an opposition, us as a government. That way, the system of checks and balances remains intact.
The IEBC selection panel had in the past week received 920 applications for the positions of chairperson and 6 commissioners. The panel's chairman Nelson Makanda said that out of the applications, 25 submitted applications for chairman, while the remaining 895 applied for 6 commissioners' jobs. According to opposition chief, the Azimio la Umoja coalition shall embark on anti-government protest should the government fail in the bipartisan process of IEBC reconstitution. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
And President William Ruto has reassured journalists of the safety after complaints regarding the freedom of the press raised. This as the Kenya Media Sector Working Group issued tough demands to the government and threatened to black out all government events if journalists continue to face the harassment. Andrin Clemy tells us more.
President William Ruto has provided reassurance to the media after attacks by law enforcement officers. During his State of Nation address, Ruto emphasized the importance of allowing the media to operate without interference, regardless of the content they cover.
We are great believers in free media, and any engagement that puts the media in danger is not acceptable.
Ruto's support for the media is particularly significant, given the numerous attacks it has faced over the past few days, primarily from security agents.
In the context of the violent demonstrations, you agree that there has been a lot of violence against citizens, many citizens, properties, burning down of buildings, including churches. In that confusion, there could have been incidences where the media was caught in the fray. I do not think there is any deliberate attack on the media. And if there was such deliberate attack on the media, I can tell you we would be opposed to it.
The president has also pledged not to shut down the internet or gag the media, as had been speculated. The reassurance comes even as the Kenya Media Sector Working Group has issued a warning that all government events will be blacked out if mistreatment of journalists continues. The group is also demanding that the government compensates affected journalists, including covering medical expenses and replacing damaged or lost equipment.
Article 34(2) of the Kenyan Constitution makes it very clear that the state shall not interfere with any person engaged in broadcasting, production, or circulation of any publication or dissemination of information by any medium, or penalize any person for any opinion or view of the content of any broadcast or publication.
Additionally, the group criticized Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi for what they said was profiling the media, and urged the Director of Public Prosecution and Inspector General of Police to ensure accountability for all threats and violence against journalists. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
I thank you for that, Andrin Kilemi, and definitely we hope that these particular demands will be met as journalists. Now, Catholic Church leaders today urged the government and opposition leaders to come together and bring peace, further asking the opposition to stop the planned demonstrations immediately. The leaders spoke during the celebrations to mark Palm Sunday. Reporter Norbert Odur tells us more.
A section of the church in Kenya has now demanded that Azimio leader and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga immediately suspends the planned Monday anti-government protest and seek an audience with President William Ruto. Addressing the media after observing Palm Sunday in a solemn mass at Our Lady of Africa Pastoral Center in Tudor, Mombasa, the chair of the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops and Archbishop of the Catholic Archdiocese of Mombasa, Martin Kivuva, also called on leaders from across the political divide to loosen their hard political stance and embrace dialogue so as to end chaos.
I earnestly call for a change of heart to the government and Azimio. May our President, the Honorable Dr. William Ruto, lead the government side to accept to listen to Azimio, to the Honorable Raila Odinga, the Azimio leader, to call off the demonstrations and accept a round-table discussions with the government side.
Murang'a Catholic Diocese Bishop Maria Wainaina condemned the ongoing Azimio anti-government demos, terming them as destructive and which have led to loss of property and lives across the country. Leading a Palm Sunday Mass in Kirinyaga County, Bishop Wainaina said there is need for the government and the opposition to hold dialogue and look for a solution.
And we plead to our leaders to respect this holy time by suspending demonstrations for the respect to God, who they claim to give honor and have been totally ignored and even mocked.
In Narok County, AIPCA church leader Benjamin Napasho, during their Palm Sunday procession, called for peace in the country, saying it's good for Kenyan leaders to call for peace and asking Azimio leader to call off the weekly demonstrations.
Akomboe hata inji yetu. Hata katika yale maandamano tumekuwa tukiona, tumuombe Mungu katika imani siku ya leo, ili amani ikaweza kupatikana katika inji yetu. Tuchukue siku ya leo kama fursa ya kumwambia Bwana, tunaomba amani iweze kuenenda pamoja nasi.
The Palm Sunday celebration marks Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem a week before his crucifixion. For some, it is a reminder of the welcoming of Jesus into their hearts and their willingness to follow him.
Ni sherehe kubwa ya Kristo kuwa akiingia kule Yerusalemu, ambayo inatuanzisha wiki takatifu kuelekea msimu wa Easter Monday.
Tutasherehekea ile siku Yesu alikaa na wafuasi wake na akaosha miguu na akapea habari eti waende wakahubiri habari njema katika dunia yote.
The Palm Sunday marks the beginning of the Holy Week leading to Easter as the last week of the Lenten season, during which Christians commemorate the last few days of Jesus Christ on earth. Norbert Oduor, TV 47.
Now, the country will start receiving food aid from outside the country starting this week. This is according to President William Ruto. Speaking in State House Sunday, the head of state noted that his administration has put up measures to alleviate the high cost of living, including registering 5 million farmers.
Tumeagiza mahindi, tumeagiza mchele, tumeagiza maharagwe, tumeagiza chakula ya aina nyingi ambazo tayari tulipatiana ilani kwa wakulima wetu kwamba kama kuna mkulima yeyote ambaye bado wako na chakula katika magala zao waziuze, kwa sababu kuanzia mwezi huu tutapata chakula kutoka nje ya nchi. Na pili, ni watangazie Wakenya ya kwamba mahali tulipata gharama ya chakula pale ilikuwa shilingi 230. Fikia sasa ni shilingi 180. Kumaanisha ya kwamba zile hatua tumezichukua zimeanza kupunguza gharama ya maisha, lakini mpango yetu ni mpango ambayo inaitwa sustainable. Ndio sababu tunashughulika na wakulima wetu.
Let's shift focus to matters security now. And sadness and sorrow prevailed among mourners in Lodwar during the burial of Jacqueline Engalan, a student who was killed by suspected bandits last week while he was taking his mother to the hospital in Eldoret. And as our reporter Kitiomika reports, Turkana leaders have asked the government to use an alternative way to deal with bandits in Kerio Valley.
Various Turkana leaders, teachers, students, as well as residents of Turkana flocked to this home to pay their last respect to Jacqueline Engalan, who was killed last week by bandits. Jacqueline Engalan was killed while taking his mother to Eldoret Hospital when the PSV car they were in was attacked by bandits in Kakong area on the Lodwar-Kitale highway last week.
Mwanafunzi anatoa mama yake anapeleka hospitali, anauliwa kwa barabara. Wanaua wale hawana bunduki na wamekufia kwa mikono ya mama wake ambaye ni mgonjwa.
Jacqueline ni mtu mkarimu, ni mtu anapenda amani sana kwa shule.
Turkana County Governor Jeremiah Lomrukai has asked the government to use alternative ways to deal with the bandits who trouble passengers and residents along the Lodwar-Kitale highway.
Ile request mimi nataka kupeana kwa serikali yetu ni kwamba ili tuchunge hii barabara, haihitaji tu tuwe along the banks of the road. Lazima tuingie kama ni hapo game. Lazima tuingie hapo yote mpaka kule Lorichit.
Wakati operation ilikuwa hakuna, watu hawakukufa kama saa hii. Walikuwa uwezi ya mifugo tu, majambazi ya kawaida. Mwisi Mturukana na mwisi Mpokoti.
The leadership of students in various institutions in the county has vowed to organize a demonstration from Lodwar town to Nairobi to demand peace after frequent killings in Turkana County.
Mambo ya insecurity. Some of us coming from that side. Some of us, we are doing business from Kitale and Lodwar.
Kindiki lazima ashughulikie wanafunzi wetu wa Turkana. Tunaenda kufungua pay bill ya kuchanga pesa. We want to do demonstration. Lazima tufanye maandamano. Juzi tumpoteza mwanafunzi wa Kind Mixed Secondary School. Imagine msichana mdogo tunampoteza na hakuna hatua serikali inachukua. Ni kwa nini?
Sai, kwa nini siku ile Kindiki alisema ni operation? Ndio magari ikaanza kupigwa. Operation iko namna gani Kindiki?
The transport situation on the Lodwar-Kitale highway has been disturbed due to frequent raids by bandits and has affected business in Lokichar, Lodwar and Kakuma towns. Kitio Mika Masai, TV47 Lodwar in Turkana County.
And from Turkana County to Kisii County, and 5 people have lost their lives after in a grisly road accident on Saturday evening after a 14-seater matatu collided head-on with a trailer in Ambuko area along Kisii Sotik Road. According to those who witnessed the accident, the matatu driver was avoiding a motorbike before hitting the trailer head-on. Among the 5 who survived, or rather who died, was a Miranda High School student.
According to eyewitnesses, the driver of the 14-seater matatu tried to avoid hitting a motorbike before coming head-to-head with a trailer that was coming from Sotik area.
We are reporting a road traffic accident between a matatu Nissan, which was flying from Kisii general direction to Keroka, and on reaching at Amabuko area, it collided with a trailer which was coming from Keroka side heading to Kisii.
A total of 5 people died on the spot, including 2 children and 3 adults. One of the deceased was a Miranda High School student who was heading home.
I've incurred 5 deaths. 3 are adults, 2 are minors, and 1 minor was a student from Miranda High School. And 5 were seriously injured. They were taken to various hospitals which are within the vicinity of Keroka, and currently they are receiving treatment.
Confirming the incident, Keroka OCPD Robert Ndambiri cautioned motorists to be extra careful on the road that is currently under construction.
I also want to appeal to drivers which are applying Sotik Kisii highway. I want to appeal to drivers, please, during this rainy season, try to be a bit slower and very observant, because there are very many accidents which are happening along this route, and it will be of your to help you if you go slowly.
Those injured were taken to various hospitals in the area, including Keroka District Hospital, St. Catherine Ichuni Mission Hospital, and Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital. Bodies of the deceased were taken to Guchi Morgue in Keroka area. Zainab Mohammed, T47.
And in response to the Marburg virus outbreak in the neighboring Tanzania, the Kenyan government has announced measures to safeguard the country from the infection. The government is establishing emergency centers at the borders to effectively manage the situation and prevent the spread of the virus into Kenya.
The government, through the Ministry of Health, has come forward and reiterated its strategies to combat the spread of the disease in the country after the disease spread in neighboring country of Tanzania.
So we have put facilities in place ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba wanaangalia temperatures ya wale watu wanaingia cross border, wanaangalia temperatures. They also we have beefed up the port health facilities zile ambazo ziko kwa mipaka kuhakikisha ya kwamba they are equipped. And in fact by the end of this week I'll be at Isibania border just to ensure that everything has been set up to be able to take care of Marburg was it to come to Kenya.
Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakumicha has reiterated precautionary strategies, including setting up border health centers ready to fight the outbreak of the disease getting into the country. Speaking in Trans Nzoia today, Nakumicha expressed her frustration towards KEMSA for what she says was failing to achieve its goals regarding the distribution of drugs in the county government.
That out of the over 200 million of medical supplies that came to Trans Nzoia County last month from KEMSA, the laboratory here received less than 30% of what they had ordered. The pharmacy here received only 40% of what they had ordered. Therefore, I want to speak to the CEO of KEMSA that we must stop this. If a facility has ordered, the minimum we should go is 70 to 80% fill rate.
In addition, the CS said she is saddened by the current situation of the health system in the county, while asking the Governor George Natembeya to dedicate himself and invest more in the health sector, which is currently in a bad state.
I have discovered that this facility is supposed to have a staff establishment of 62 health workers. However, they only have a half of that. And even the half, not all of them are on duty.
Flora Limuki, TV 47.
At a special pace tonight, climate change has definitely changed the way of life globally. In Kenya, pastoralist communities have bore the fruit of climate change recently. A number of them lost their livestock, a source of their livelihood. But now, Smart Foundation, under the leadership of the first daughter, Charlene Ruto, seeks to change the narrative by introducing farming to them. Here is Sharon Baranga with the story.
Tumsalimie mheshimiwa wetu Deputy President, wapigie makofi.
The Deputy President was speaking in a meeting that brought together scholars and businessmen from Githunguri to discuss methods of educating the youth.
I gave an order for an operation and so much has been done. So these guys are simply refusing to work and most of them are compromised. They receive a return every Friday.
According to the Deputy President, the young people need to be given a direction that will benefit them in their future, citing that everyone must be involved in doing so.
The people of Githunguri are the explanation. They are the personification. They represent who the people of Mount Kenya are. Hard-working people, people who are focused.
Gachagua promised to hold a meeting with the leaders and security agencies in the next 2 weeks to find methods that will help them do away with alcohol and drug abuse.
Hawa watu wanauza bangi, wanauza hiyo pombe, wanapeleka kitu pale. So when I became very rough and new policemen were brought, a lot of work has been done. So I'm sure when we sit with the leaders, we'll see what to do.
He also promised that the students at Githunguri Primary School will benefit from free food at school as well as professional instructions.
To liberate our people from enslavement, economic enslavement is not for the faint-hearted. It is for the brave, the courageous, and people with a conviction.
Young people who are addicted will also get counseling and training at the Mount Kenya University to relieve them from the addiction. Kiambu Woman Representative Gathoni Wamshomba also emphasized the Deputy President's speech. This comes after an outcry by the parents to the government in dealing with those ruining the lives of the young people.
Office discussing matters, coffee, tea, and milk. And thank you so much for trusting me and believing in me, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, before I proceed, I have leaders with me who I would want to give this microphone to say something, just to say a word, because they have been here, and it is good to appreciate leadership.
Ronnie Reagan, TV 47.
Let's appreciate our Deputy President.
Right, that is Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua in his efforts to fight the war on drug abuse, mainly in the central region. This is mainly where the increase of alcohol and drug abuse has been. And we do apologize for that. I had read our special piece that was produced and done by Sharon Baranga. We'll be having that particular story just for you after this short break.
Here, like you see, these are the fabrics we use for the sofas. Yeah, there are different types of fabrics. Sabak.
This is the best way to go. Eat color, eat raw, like this is alive.
Well, 2022 is behind us. 2023 is here with us. What are your plans? We here at TV47's Morning Cafe have great plans for you. We're talking about information, we're talking about entertainment, we're talking about the greatness for the year. So make sure that you're always with us every morning.
Kwa muonekano wao hauwezi ukajua waliopitia. Kwa sura zao zinapong'aa hauwezi ukafahamu changamoto zao. Nyuma yao ipo stori la historia. Katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi tunakupa nafasi kuweza kuwafahamu kila siku ya Alhamisi kuanzia saa 1:30 kuendelea. Nami Elizabeth Mutu.
Your health matters, and Body Garage is here to guide you on it.
Someone's, after using the medication, the virus number of the HIV in someone's body will start to go.
My medication, wherever I go, I must make sure I'm committed to my medication. Yes, and I should watch what I'm eating. I should not just eat from everywhere or not just eat anything.
We talk mental, physical, and spiritual health. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. Lover of farming? Well, Kilimo Diaries is your home for different farming ventures, crops, animals, and so much more. Every Sunday, with a new year comes endless possibilities, and as we continue to tell the stories of those abled differently, do make sure to join us on Beyond the Limit every Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
It's a new year, and with a new year, it means new business ideas, new trends in the market, and new tips to make your current business even better.
Giving an option for a customer to have unsecured financing enables them to get the product today without putting any collateral down.
And we here on The Grind, we will be at the forefront to keep you in the loop every Monday at 8:30 p.m.
Yeah, like you see, these are the fabrics we use for the sofas. Yeah, there are different types of fabrics.
Of untold stories.
Well, Welcome back. This is the home of Untold Stories. And speaking of untold stories, climate change has definitely changed the way of life globally. In Kenya, pastoralist communities have bore the brunt of climate change. Recently, a number of them lost their livestock, a source of their livelihood. But now, Smart's foundation, under the leadership of the first daughter, Charlene Ruto, seeks to change the narrative by introducing farming to them. Here is Sharon Baranga with the story.
Kuria Lililit is an elder from Lodokejek in Samburu County. Being a Samburu, a known pastoralist community in Kenya, Lililit never pictured himself holding a hoe and tilling land. But the changing tides influenced by climate change has forced this community to look for alternatives for survival, and they are gradually embracing farming while also encouraging more members of their community to accept it.
Mimi na hata hawa sahii wengine imeona hii kitu imekuja mzuri. Sahii kila mtu wanashika hii nini kulima.
Kilimo kama wakati mradi hii ya Smart Foundation imekuja hapa, hata nimeona wenyeji hapa wamefurahi. Wasee wamekuja hapa wameona kwamba even with a small piece of land unaweza ukafanya kazi nzuri kama hii ya faida hata kuliko yule ufugaji ya mifugo ambayo imekuwa inatusumbua sana. Kiangazi ndio hii unakuta mzee ng'ombe yake zote zimeisha, na kama angekuwa na miradi kama hii ingekuwa ya manufaa. So nimeona wengi wakisunguka hapa wakiona, wakitazama, wanazungumzia zaidi kutaka kubadilisha kilimo ambayo ilikuwa ya mifugo, kutaka kufanya hii miradi. Wengi walikuwa wanauliza itakuwa ni kiasi gani ya asa ya pesa ambayo itatumika kufanya hii kazi, abadilishe ile mifugo yake, afanye hii ambayo itakuwa rahisi, au utakuwa unasumbuana kusukuma mfugo kila mahali kufuata kutafuta nyazi. Utakuwa na have a neck plot kwa Manyata, na utakuwa na pesa, watoto wako utakuwa unalisha bora.
With more than 4 consecutive rainy seasons failing in most parts of the country, the Samburus, like other pastoralist communities, lost a number of livestock to drought. But with training and guidance from Smart's foundation on the crops to grow, there is hope for this community.
Hii maradi wanasaidia sisi. Kwa sababu hapa saa hii hatuwezi enda huko mbali kuenda kutafuta mboga. Hata sisi siku hizi hakuna maziwa, unatumia tu hii mboga tu. Alafu mboga wanaenda kutega huko kwa soko kama Kisima ama Lukuru, lakini siku moja tu kwa wiki unaenda kutafuta mboga huko. Hiyo masiku nyingine hakuna kitu, hatuwezi pata mboga. Kwa hivyo saa hii unaona iko sawa, kwa sababu mboga iko hapa. Wakati mboga anaamka, kama anataka kukula kila siku, sinakuja tu kununua hapa.
Mradi huu itakuwa ya manufaa katika jamii ya hapa, sababu watakuwa wanajifunza, itakuwa wanapata elimu kupitia miradi hii ambayo imefanywa katika shule. Zaidi shule hii imekuwa ya manufaa katika shule yetu ya Lodokejek, kwa sababu shule hii ni la bweni la both girls and boys, na huwa tunakuwa na changamoto kupata mboga, hasa ukiona katika mahali shule hii iko ni mahali jangwa, na kupata mboga inakuwa shida. Kwa itakuwa ni an income generating activity to the school. Ile pesa huwa tunatumia kununua mboga ya wanafunzi wa bweni itaenda katika miradi nyingine ya kufanya renovation ya shule, kusaidia watoto ambao hawajiwezi, hata kuwanunulia vitabu, kuwanunulia makalamu, na hata pia kuwanunulia sabuni kwa wale ambao ni wabweni. Tuko na wanafunzi ambao wanapitia changamoto mingi. Wanafunzi watajifunza, watapeleka ile knowledge watapata hapa nyumbani, watasaidia wazazi wao watakuwa wanakuja hapa kujifunza, alafu pia wapeleke hiyo knowledge nyumbani, na itakuwa tu si ya manufaa kwa shule hii bali kwa community, the entire community around. It has also created employment to a number of community members, sababu unajua hatuwezi kufanyisha wanafunzi kazi hapa, kazi yao itakuwa ni kwenda darasani, lakini lazima tutaajiri mtu wa kufanya hapa. It has created an employment to 1 or 2 people in the community, of which it has also benefited some households around.
The Smarts project in Samburu County, which seeks to improve the lives of pastoralist communities, and one that will be scaled up in other counties in arid and semi-arid regions, is under the patronage of Charlene Ruto, the first daughter of Kenya.
I'm very, first of all, proud of what we've been able to do here in Samburu County. And we're grateful to the school that has supported us and given us the space to start a model farm here, so that then we can see how we can support the young people in agriculture, because that's something through SMART's foundation. We're very passionate about climate change and agriculture. So we are carrying out a few activities on the farm. We're doing a few crops, Chinese cabbage, onion. We'll experiment with a few others so that we can see what's going to do well in this region. And then we encourage the school children, the community to come on board to see what is being done. We also give them the expertise. We give them where they can get the seed beds, not the seed beds. And then how they can get the right tools, because here we are doing drip irrigation. So how they can get the right tools, how we can support them to start doing farming even in their own compounds, so that they have a source of livelihood and a source of income. And especially for the young people, this could be from school-going children all the way from primary all the way to those who are older, 18, 25, so that they can get some source of livelihood for themselves. So we're planting cabbage, Chinese cabbage, and cabbage, the usual cabbage, and onions. Yeah, as a start, because those are short-term crops. They'll take a shorter time to mature, and they have high nutritional value. So through SMART's foundation, we have started tree planting. We're doing tree growing. We've started such an agricultural system. We're going to move to doing this across different counties as model farms. Beehives here, because beehives are part of the natural ecosystem. They are a part of handling climate change, because once we have these crops here and we have the bees, it will encourage us to continue planting more trees, and also it will be a source of income for the community, because then they're able to harvest the honey and other products of what the bees produce to be able to get an income.
We are cognizant of the fact that Samburu County is one of the counties that normally lags behind in terms of economic empowerment. As a foundation, we have decided to come on board and try and help this community to boost it economically. I know from the legal angle, all Kenyans, when we promulgated the 2010 Constitution, one of the aspirations of our people was the right to dignity and economic freedom. Since independence, close to 60 plus years, that has remained a mirage for people. And as a foundation, we want to come and join hands with them and give them a source of livelihood. We want to give them a dignified life. We do not want to hear stories of banditry, stories of, all this manner of illegal activities that normally takes place in this part of our country. So that is what we want to do as SMART Foundation. We want to give these people the right to dignity. We want to give them economic freedom in our lifetime.
Water pans are also being set up in specific areas for the benefit of Samburu residents. Apart from supply of water for the day-to-day activities, the water pans will also make it possible for more people to engage in farming.
Long time ago, we used to know this time, the time for planting, this is the time for harvesting. But now you can't know the time for planting because of the rains. And we also like supporting the government agenda, because you see, we want to change now from the rain fed to irrigation. And we say, our tagline is, we transform farm and life through technology. So you see, without irrigation, actually, there's no produce. That's why we are very key in irrigation.
So here is a snippet of how the model farm works.
So first of all, what you had to do was you need to have a source of water. And thanks to the Ministry of Water, they drilled a borehole down there which is yielding 18 cubic meters per hour, of which it is enough for the community. So we set up our storage tank here. This is 3,000 liters capacity of the tank. So this is the main source of the water. So now we get the water from the main tank into our storage tank. The main reason why you need a storage tank is that you cannot depend on another water source. What if there is no water? So you need to be assured that you have water in your tank. So when the water trickles down from the tank, it has to pass through the filter. You see, maybe the water is dirty, and you have to filter the particles that are there. So these are disc filter. So the disc filter can last up to 10 years, but you have to do servicing of the water around there is pretty clean. If it was water from the river, maybe you can do 2 months filtering, but with this one you can do 3 to 4 months. You open the disc, then you just wash the disc filter, and then it becomes clean. So these help us to remove the particles that can block the drip pipes.
All right.
Yeah.
There's 2 small stones.
Yeah, 2 small particles.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So now from the filter, you have a main line flowing downwards. There are different designs. Someone can put the main line in between the farm so that it can supply both sides.
All right.
But as we decided to do one side, since we are not using, we are using gravity to pump the water into the farms.
Okay.
But we wanted we can even irrigate a whole huge piece of land, but we have to use a pump now.
Okay.
So we wanted to reduce the bottlenecks between the school so that they cannot try and figure out on how to get petrol again for the pump.
All right.
So we decided to use gravity.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is the main pipe downwards there. And in the main pipes, we have so this is the first opening. You don't have to irrigate your farm each and every time.
Okay.
Yeah, you can, when you just irrigate, let's say, in the morning, midday, and in the evening. A duration of 30 minutes, it depends on the requirement of the crop.
Okay.
So if it is raining like right now, you don't really need to irrigate because the farm is already okay. So you have to ensure that this is closed, because if you make any mistake and the drips continue flowing overnight, utapata mboga zimeloweka.
So that's one of the key things to note.
Yeah.
That you're not supposed to. You have to ensure you control, the water that gets into the farm.
Yeah.
The story of Samburu is being rewritten as more residents continue to be aware of the impact of climate change. They align themselves with solutions being offered from foundations such as SMARTS. Hopefully, they will have a different narrative to pass on to their generations. Sharon Baranga, TV47 in the county of Samburu.
Thank you for that, Sharon Biranga. Quite an eye-opener piece. Now to the wonderful world of sports. More than 300 golfers took part in the Chairman's Prize tournament at the Ruiru Golf Club in an event which is held annually as a ratification ceremony for the newly elected club chairman. Our sports reporter Duncan Mutua Skofu attended the prestigious tournament that saw Paul Kamau and Ann Gumba crowned as the men and women's champions respectively, and has filed the following report.
As early as 6 a.m. Saturday morning, golfers started streaming in at the Ruiru Golf Club for a Chairman's Prize golf tournament, an event which was a treat for Dominic Chege, who has been re-elected and opposed as the chairman of Ruiru Golf Club. The sports lovers, including TV47 and Radio 47 under Cape Media, were ready to grace the event. 100 of golfers flexed their skills, looking to cut the most points. And around 12 p.m., the celebrated man of the day chairman Dominic Chege took to the field with his competitors. And it will take him more than 3 hours for him to call it a day. From his appearance, truly, he had kept it sporty throughout the course.
This edition is unique because, first of all, I'm now starting my second term, so there's no handing over. It's just a continuation of my term. Number two, it is one of the first major events we have after the COVID, where we have more than 300 golfers. So we are happy because it shows now that life is back to normal, especially in the world of sports. We're going to continue with the prudent financial management, which has made this club now be what it is now. Number two, we are planning to have a modern health club, which will have, among other things, a very modern gym, modern saunas, which will be gender-based saunas, a golf simulator, resting areas, a spa, a very modern spa, and some modern offices and conference rooms. So that is our plan for this year, and we hope we are going to achieve.
And nearly 20 minutes to 7 p.m., the golf course was clear, an indicator that the action time was over and everyone would now shift focus to the prize-giving ceremony. Music and speech would follow.
The purpose of this day is to celebrate together as a club what we have achieved in the last 1 year.
I stand here on behalf of Cape Media. I'm sure you're wondering what I'm doing with Cape Media. Cape Media is one of our institutions under Mount Kenya University. And today, we have the brand that is sponsoring Chairman's Prize. And allow me, Chairman, to invite the person to talk on the brand, that is Radio 47. Karibu.
The Cape Media CEO Ken Otwenyo had this to say.
Today as TV47 alone, but we are also growing consistently. And now we have a new baby on the block. The name is Radio 47. And the tagline is, Hapa Ndipo. We are Kenya's fastest growing Swahili national radio station, first of its kind to offer audiovisual delivery to the clients. We are committed to working with you, not only delivering value to our audiences, but partnering with you in actually expanding your businesses wherever you will go.
Time to award the winner came, and the winner were feted accordingly. As seasoned golfer Paul Kamau emerged as the overall winner, playing off handicap 22, carding 42 points to beat his closest challenger, Ben Kanyi, on counterback. Former Kiambu Golf Club captain Ann Gumba had the bragging rights in ladies category, playing off handicap 22, beating Tabitha Kiragu and Faith Nyagaki. And around 11 p.m., the event was closed. As the sportsmen believe, the world of sports has no losers. Those who did not win will have to wait until 2024. Duncan Mutua, Askofu, TV47 Sports.
Thank you for that, Askofu. And more than 100 youth football clubs from across Vihiga County are set to receive free mentorship from FKF-trained coaches through a football tournament dubbed Ka Soba na Ball, which aims at utilizing and nurturing local talent, as well as keeping young people in the region free from drug abuse. The tournament, endorsed by the Football Kenya Federation, is being sponsored by the Bosi Foundation and will have 26 ladies football teams, as well as 87 men's football teams in the county. Mentored Arnold Adidi tells us more.
The move has been well received by upcoming football teams in Vihiga County, who for a long time have continued to record poor results due to low-level mentorship and training, as well as poor sporting infrastructure.
Sponsorship ya kucheza pale majuu huwa ni shida kidogo upande wa fedha. Sasa sponsor akiona mchezo mzuri, ataona timu inacheza mzuri, ataisongesha kidogo icheze hata county league.
Hii tournament imekuja ile time nzuri kwa sababu vijana tumekuwa idle mtaani. So itatusaidia ile cooperation among the youths.
Apart from vigorous training and football matches, the mentorship also aims at creating awareness on drug abuse among the youth in the region, which has lately been hit by a surge in illicit brew consumption. Rogers Bosi is the program manager.
We came up with the idea that we should involve our youth to become active in sports, and that way, by keeping them active, we will also educate them on the dangers of illicit alcohol. We are looking at both genders, ladies and gentlemen, young men and young women, to come and nurture their talent. This also helps them in networking.
However, poor sporting infrastructure in the area has been termed as a challenge, with the county government of Vihiga being called upon to invest more in sports amenities.
Hatuna uwanja ambao timu yoyote hapa county inaweza Premier League. Ndiposa tucheze Premier League, charity tuondoke nje ya county. Unaona timu zetu ambazo zinasuka mpira wa Premier League zinacheza nje, lakini niko na imani kwa sababu nimeona mpangilio ya gavana wa Vihiga Dr. Otichiro ya kwamba kabla aondoke ofisini ata make sure ya kwamba tuna uwanja ambao unaweza cheza Premier League.
Arnold Adidi, TV47, Vihiga County.
The national women's football team Harambee Starlets has entered training camp to prepare for their international friendly match against Albania, slated for April the 11th this year in Albania. The team is in its second day of training, with all local-based players having reported to camp, and will be joined by their international counterparts later next week. Speaking during the training session, Harambee Starlets defender Phoebe Owiti stated that they qualify, or rather the quality of the players will determine the outcome of the match, since they have never played against each other before, thus have no areas of weaknesses on their opponents to exploit. According to Phoebe, the team is motivated and the mood in camp is great, with players ready to sharpen their skills further for the match against Albania.
Tumekaa nje for long sana. Juu ya ile ban tulikuwa tuna feel pain sana. Vile hizo makantisi zinacheza na sisi hatuchezi. So mimi kitu naweza sema, hii opportunity kukaa 1 year bila kucheza ball, competitive football ni noma sana. So mimi kitu naweza sema, tumepewa opportunity, tunaenda kucheza hiyo friendly. Na tunataka kupromise watu wetu, our country, tunaenda to make proud. We are going for the win. Because hatujaicheza nao, hatujui vile wanacheza, lakini pia sisi hawajui vile tunacheza. So mimi naweza sema gravity amua.
Venye tutatrain ndio tutacheza, and then hatujaicheza nao, is our first maybe match.